Hey, what is up, everybody? This is your boy AJTRIP, and welcome to the game according to me. Yeah, once again, do what we normally do, talk about what went on this past weekend in college football and in the NFL. And as always, we start with the college game. All right, so let's look back at week 3. Start with Kentucky beating Youngstown State 31-0, shutting them out. Nebraska losing big to Oklahoma 49-14. The Baylor Bears taking on Texas State, whooped up on them 42-7. The number 1 team in the country, Georgia, beat South Carolina 48-7. Michigan shut out Connecticut 59-0. Penn State beat Auburn surprisingly in a blowout 41-12. BYU had their chance at a national championship and let it go through their fingers by getting blown out by the Oregon Ducks 41-20 in Eugene. Mississippi beat Georgia Tech, shut them out 42-0. A lot of shutouts last week. A lot of blowouts. Alabama, of course, blew out Louisiana Monroe 63-7. Wake Forest just barely came down to the last second and beat Liberty 37-36. Ohio State whooped up on Toledo 77-21. Tennessee beat Akron 63-6. NC State beat on Texas Tech 27-14. Oklahoma State beat Arkansas Pine Bluff 63-7. See, I'm so sick and tired of these. It's just I'm gonna continue to scream it from the rooftops. Power 5 teams in Power 5 conferences should not be playing FCS SCS teams, and if they want to play a team not in a Power 5 conference, they should play them on the road. Because we get things like, look at the scores that I've been reading off: 59-0, 42-0, 63-7, 63-6, 63-7. Come on, Arkansas beating Missouri State. This one's a little bit closer, 38-27. Florida beat South Florida 31-28. Pittsburgh beat Western Michigan 34-13. Washington beat Michigan State 39-28. Texas beat University of Texas San Antonio 41-20. Clemson beat Louisiana Tech 48-20. Texas A&M, which was maybe game of the week, it came on pretty late too, like at 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock Eastern time. 17-9 beat Miami, Florida. Utah beat San Diego State 35-7, and USC beat up on Fresno State 45-17. Now, as we look ahead to this upcoming week in week four, Baylor takes on Iowa State as we start to get into for some teams some conference play. Pittsburgh, however, has to place Rhode Island. Michigan hosts Maryland, so that's good. Georgia still beating up on tomato cans, got to play Kent State at home. Central Michigan going to Penn State. Clemson and Wake Forest. That could be a pretty good game. Clemson's at Wake Forest. So we'll see. We know where Wake Forest. Their quarterback is now back and healthy, so that'll be a good thing. Good shout. Miami, Florida, at home against Middle Tennessee. Don't know what that's gonna do. Florida and Tennessee. There's some SEC stuff going on here. Tennessee, the 11th ranked Volunteers. Florida, the 20th ranked. That's be a good time. But I don't know when the last time both teams were ranked in a game of this magnitude. So we'll see. Texas being facing Texas Tech, which is pretty nice. Even though the Texas Tech is not ranked, it's just Texas is ranked 22nd. It should be a pretty good matchup. Mississippi taking on Tulsa. Oregon is at Washington State. So we start some Pac-12 play going on right there. Texas A&M hosts the 10th ranked Arkansas Razorbacks, so that should be nice and some more SEC stuff going on there. Kentucky taking on Northern Illinois. Kentucky ranked 8th in the nation. That is something, isn't it? Unbelievable. We'll see what Kentucky can do. Ohio State is hosted Wisconsin. They get the Big Ten play there. And starting with some SEC play for Alabama, they take on Vanderbilt. NC State is hosting Connecticut. Oklahoma is facing Kansas State at home. First road game, I think, or at least first Pac-12 road game for USC. They take on Oregon State. BYU coming off that loss hosts Wyoming. The Utes are at Arizona State, who just fired Herm Edwards after they lost to Eastern Michigan. I think they lost to at home. So, and they've also got some stuff that they're going through there with their program. I don't know what was happening. I thought Herm Edwards. I guess I was wrong because to me, Herm Edwards and Lovie Smith seem like guys that would fit perfectly, in college football. Not only would they, help these young men become men, but they also would be good coaches and would, lead their teams and at the very least lead their teams to like 8-4 records, and 9-3 records. Maybe every now and then they'll pop like a record of like 10-2, 11-1, and fight for a Pac-12 and Big Ten championship when Lovey was in Illinois. But it just didn't seem to work. So I don't know. For Lovey, it was like he didn't even want to recruit. He didn't want to do all of that. So and that was his problem. He really kind of didn't. A lot of people felt he didn't really want to even be a college coach. He felt like he was best suited to be a professional coach. And that he did his time in college and he shouldn't have to, you know, go back to college. Once he got fired after 2 years from Tampa Bay, and he should have never been fired and everything like that. So a lot of stuff going on there, but it just didn't happen. And now Herman Edwards is gone from Arizona State, so let's see what goes on there. And the 18th ranked Washington hosts the Stanford Cardinal. So there you have it. Some NCAA stuff happening here, and it's so good. I'm so glad to have football back. uh, my weekends are filling up. So, yes, we talked about the college game. Now let's hit it up and start with the pros. So let's look back at week 2, starting with last Thursday's game. First game on Prime Video, the Chargers vs. the Chiefs. What a game it was. Justin Herbert gets hurt, had some fractured rib cartilage, stayed in, played through it. Jared Everett gassed on one play, threw an interception, 99 yards for a touchdown to Justin Herbert. Chiefs stayed alive, and they won the game, 27-24. Let's go back to Sunday. The Patriots and the Steelers. Patriots won 17-14. Already some talk about Mitch Trubisky not being able to do what the offense with. They said that last week was a bad win, so we'll see. They've got the next game coming up on Thursday night, tomorrow night, against the Browns, and they have to deal with Jadeveon Clowney and Myles Garrett. So we'll see what they happen with them. The Giants are 2-0. Beat the Panthers 19-16. Um, Daniel Jones not doing things to beat the Giants as he was in the past, and offense stuff sputtering for Panthers. Big Mayfield and the Panthers already starting to get some fire Matt Rule things going on online. So that's very interesting. One of the crazy comebacks in this past week too. The Jets came back from 13 down, 14 down, in under 2 minutes. The first time that's happened since 2001 when the Chicago Bears did it against the Cleveland Browns. Jets beat the Browns 31-30. This is what's going to happen without Deshaun Watson. Even though Jacoby Brissett trying his best, not going to happen. I'm missing Deshaun Watson, and also Nick Chubb came out and said that the loss was on him because he should have took a knee. But I'm sure a lot of fantasy owners are happy that he scored a touchdown. So I think that's a whole nother topic for another thing. The stopping at the goal line versus taking a touchdown. I don't know. But in this case, it backfired on the Browns. Jets won 31-30. What's happening with the Indianapolis coach? They brought in Matt Ryan, and he's just not done anything, I guess. And teams are stopping Jonathan Taylor. They're taking him out of the game. Jaguars shut out the coach, 24-0. The Colts have lost 8 straight, I believe, to the Jacksonville Jaguars at at home against the Jaguars. So this is you know this is something that is just it's crazy to me. Um, Another comeback, the Dolphins. It was 35-21, and they came back 35-14 actually, and they came back and scored 3 touchdowns to tie it up. Ravens went down, kicked the field goal, and then just the Dolphins just with passes. Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, Tua, 6 touchdown passes, the most, tied for the most in Dolphins history in a single game. Touchdown, 42-38. The Dolphins are 2-0 and looking to make some surprising noise in that AFC East division. We'll see what they do. They got a big game coming up this week. The Buccaneers take on the Saints. You want to talk about overcoming some adversity? Both teams' offense was bad. I don't know if this was a game of bad offense and bad offense or just a game of good defense. But no matter what, it was 3-3 for the longest time. And then apparently a fight happened with Michael Evans. Mike Evans, he has been suspended for this upcoming week's game. And Marshawn Lattimore from the New Orleans Saints, they have a whole lot of history going back to when Jameis Winston was there at the quarterback, and they were wearing them all funky looking jerseys in the past. So there was some big times there, but then Buccaneers they seemed to light a fire under them, and they scored some points. They beat the Saints 20-10. The Detroit Lions beat the Washington Commanders 36-27, and boy, I tell you, this Lions team is they're just not gonna quit. And if they and this is the second game they've scored where the second game they played where they've scored over 35 points, and it's amazing. This team looks like they can put points on the board, And if you can put points on the board, you're always gonna have the opportunity to stay in this game and win. And you looked at last year; they were always in every game last year. You know, and they're starting off this year. This very hot on fire. DeAndre Swift is running the ball so effectively. The running game is a Jared Goff. He is. I think he's becoming a little bit better. He's playing, first two games, but he's playing better than he was last year. And they just beat the Commanders, man. Some real good. So 36-27. Not sure what's happening with Ron Rivera. He had a very weird thing went on where he at one point he scored a touchdown and he went for two when he didn't need to. Um, and it's always one of these stupid things, right? It's one of these stupid things where and analytics will tell you that you need to go for two because if you go for one, you know, because no matter if you go for two or if you go for one, you're still down one score. But then the Lions scored another touchdown. Then they were down. Then they were down by 9. And they were down instead of 7. Or instead of 8. And then they needed two scores. So it was. I don't know what Ron was doing there. There was that Riverboat Ron thing, and that's just not good. He had people on Twitter questioning whether or not he's actually a good coach tonight. And I think he is, but you just, a little bit crazy there. The 49ers beat the Seattle Seahawks 27-7. Unfortunately, Trey Lance broke his fibula and some cartilage in his lower leg and is out for the season. They brought Jimmy Garoppolo in, and this is his team again, and we'll see what the 49ers do under Jimmy Garoppolo. I think a lot of people now looking at that saying, yes, they are back to being a Super Bowl contender. The Rams beat the Falcons 31-27 after the Falcons made a bit of a comeback. But the interception by Jalen Ramsey stalled the Falcons' drive, and the Rams took it the rest of the way. The Cardinals beat the Ravens 29-23 in overtime. Another comeback where the Cardinals came back and beat the Ravens. Kyler Murray just doing Kyler Murray things and just running all over the place on one. I don't know. I forget if it was a touchdown or two-point conversion, but he ran like 84 yards just to get into the end for a 7-yard touchdown run or something. So that was crazy. And they picked up a fumble in overtime and ran it in for a touchdown. So kudos to the Cardinals for doing what they had to do. A little bit of controversy coming out of this. The Las Vegas PD is looking at some tape, looking for a guy who allegedly hit Kyler Murray in the face um, after they were talking about scoring a touchdown. But from all points in line, it looked like it was an accident. It was an accident. It looked like he was going for the fan was going for a high five and missed him and hit his face because Kyler Murray was jumping around and something like that, and Kyler Murray kind of turned into it, something like that. So I don't think it was I don't think it was on purpose. I think it was an accident. So I hope that they don't do nothing to the fan or the fan says it was an accident, and makes an apology. It kind of looked like that he kind of he made it also looked like that he maybe also like knew what had happened, and he kind of was like, well, let me get back because it's an accident. I didn't mean to do it, but he should have apologized unless he was thinking maybe that because all of the other Cardinals were coming over there to see him. So the Broncos beat the Texans 16-9. Not sure what's going on down in Denver with the offense. They're struggling a little bit. I think it was like Russell Wilson was like 14 of 31 or something like that. So it's not good, but maybe a slow start for the Denver Broncos. The Cowboys beat the Bengals 20-17. The offensive line with the Cincinnati Bengals has not been fixed. Joe Burrow still running for him for his life. Got sacked 6 times in this past game. So I'm not sure what's going to happen with the Cincinnati Bengals. But they started slow last year, and look where they ended up. So you can't count the Bengals out just yet. Packers beat the Bears, obviously. Aaron Rodgers still owns them, 27-10. The Buffalo and then the two Monday night football games seem to be amazing blowouts. The Bills beat the Titans 41-7. The Bills just have a look of just this is their time to just take people out of their shoes and everything like that. Josh Allen is just the best player in the league right now, and it's just amazing to see. And the Eagles are also amazing. Jalen Hurts looks like he could maybe be doing something as well. They beat the Vikings 24-7. Um, so yeah, it's two Monday night football games. Usually, last couple of years, I don't think there was two, or at least last year there wasn't two on Monday night football games. But and then now they're talking about doing that next year. They're going to do three doubleheaders, and so I don't know. I kind of like the doubleheaders. I don't know if I like them staggered, where one starts at like 7 Eastern, the other one starts at 8 Eastern. I don't know if I like that. I think I like it, where you don't have to turn back and forth and things like that. But now let's look ahead to week three. Like I said, tomorrow night starts week three. The Steelers and the Browns. This is this is a bigger game for the Steelers, I believe, than the Browns, because I think without T.J. Watt and the offense struggling, this is they cannot get behind in that um in that division. I think that the Browns still have a chance to, when Deshaun Watson come back, make a run at the end of the year. But and also we're talking about Mitch Trubisky and Kenny Pickett. Could Kenny Pickett turn out to be like a Justin Herbert? For the Chargers, where he plays well. I don't know. People, they were just talking about it on Get Up, and they're thinking that Kenny Pickett is the dude, but I'm not sure. So, but I think this may be a big game for Mitch, because if he does again lead a Steelers team to a struggling offense, they have like a mini bye which they could use to take Kenny Pickett into the and make him the starter. But we'll see. Um, the game of the week is the Bills and the Dolphins. Both are 2-0. They're in Miami in that big heat. Can the Dolphins keep up with the Bills? Are the Bills going to be once again just you know offensively just be a juggernaut, or are they going to you know have to and can their defense stop the Miami Dolphins offense? And vice versa, can the Miami offense defense stop the Bills? They couldn't stop Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens, and I think the Bills offense is a little bit better than the Ravens offense. So that's going to be a tremendous game. You got the Bengals at the Jets. Can the Bengals, you know, can they get back on track with a lesser team? Because the Jets can they start doing something and getting on the roll here, as Zach Wilson should be back within the next couple of weeks. The Raiders at the Titans, both 0-2. We'll start the season 0-2. What's the record? It's like 12% of teams that start 0-2 make the playoffs. I think only the Dallas Cowboys, with won the Super Bowl, started 0-2. So it's you don't you're already 0-2. You don't want to get behind and get to the 0-3, but somebody will be getting there. The Saints and the Panthers, the Ravens at the Patriots. That's something that is interesting. Can the Baltimore Ravens come back from their their tragic loss, and then can the Patriots, who's having offensive troubles as well, can they get something going at home? The Lions and the Vikings, this is both good, both 1-1 teams. Everybody's 1-1 in the NFC North. Um, so I can't wait to see what this happens. We just talked about the Vikings had a really bad showing on Monday Night Football, and the Lions just came off with this great win against the Commanders. What happens here? That's going to be a good show. And I'm so glad that DirecTV has, for some reason, given us a a free chance of DirecTV. I don't know if it's free because this is the last year for for the Sunday ticket on DirecTV or whatever. But there's a lot of games. I can flip back and forth to the Bills, Lions, and the Vikings. Of course, I will be as a Chicago Bears fan, be watching the Bears and the Texans. But yeah, this is gonna be awesome. The Eagles and the Commanders are also there again. Can Jalen Hurts go on the road and into Washington in the divisional game and take care of business against the Commanders, or the Commanders step up and show that they are still in this division as well? That's a good game. Chiefs at the Colts. Colts 0-1-1. They need a victory, and the Chiefs obviously 2-0. They still want to keep it continue. So all that's some good stuff all in the 1 o'clock window. Uh, we talked about Texans and the Bears. Um, Lovie Smith, another he's been in the Soldier Field since then, but I guess he's another homecoming. Uh, and then the late window with the Chargers hosting the Jaguars, the Rams going to Arizona to face the Cardinals, the Packers and the Buccaneers. That's probably as Fox would call it, the game of the week. Um, without Mike Evans and all the other injured stars, they signed Cole Beasley. Can the Buccaneers hold off the Green Bay Packers, and can Aaron Rodgers and crew, get stuff going down there without their, stars? Um, at the very least, their left tackle David Bakhtiari, he may not play. Falcons at the Seahawks. The Sunday Night Football, the 49ers at the Broncos. This is a really nice, good game too. Jimmy G, first full week of practice, going to Denver, the Mile High, and of course Russell Wilson, first Sunday night game in Broncos. We talked about their offense sputtering, what's going to happen there. And then on Monday Night Football, Cooper Rush and their Dallas Cowboys, surprising victory over the Bengals against the 2-0 New York Giants. This is Daniel Jones' time to show and the New York Giants, are they for real? Saquon Barkley, Brian Daboll, this is a thing without Dak Prescott. You should say the Giants have a great chance to win. So let's see if they do that, and if they don't, then it's gonna be just same old Giants. And the Cowboys, of course, they need to try to stay as close to the Eagles as they can. Because if Dak is gonna come back in another week or two, then they need to be, you know, as close as they can to the Eagles. The Eagles might, the way they're looking, they might continue to on their winning ways. All right, so that is it for this episode of the Game According to Me. We will be back next week, obviously recapping what happened this week in college and pro football, and then looking into what's going to happen next weekend in college and pro football, as we normally do. We may also even talk about a little bit of baseball as baseball coming down to the wire. So we may even do that. But yes, thank you guys so much for listening. Please go to patreon.com/AJTRIP to become a patron. Once you hit a certain amount of patrons, you will be able to determine what you want to see on my YouTube channel, uh, on what video games I play on my Twitch channel. They have to be the games that I have, and what we need to talk about on my other podcast, The Word According to Me, which a new episode will be coming out next week. It's Monday, so make sure you are going to be listening for that. Same thing. Wherever you're listening to this podcast, you can probably find The Word According to Me there. Just search for it. All right. Thank you guys so much for listening. This is your boy, AJTRIP, signing off. As always, be good to each other, y'all. Be careful out there. And I am out.